back to the news and switching our focus to the northern arena. A report over the weekend in the Wall Street Journal news portal included a statement by American and Israeli military officials expressing satisfaction with the Lebanese government's actions to reduce Hezbollah's control of the Rafik Hariri International Airport in Beirut, which is located in the densely populated area of South Beirut, largely controlled by Hezbollah. For years, the organization used it as a smuggling channel and a lever to entrench its dominance in the country of Lebanon. Now the new Lebanese government is trying to take it back. In general, American officials are voicing cautious optimism about the new Lebanese government and about Hezbollah's weakening and the growing opposition to it in the Lebanese street. The Wall Street Journal report noted that the focused move at Beirut's airport is part of a broader effort to limit the influence of the Hezbollah terrorist organization and cut it off from its revenue streams. Lebanese Prime Minister Nawaf Salam told the paper in an interview that you can feel the difference. For the first time in Lebanon's history, we are improving our handling of smuggling. For instance, a senior Lebanese security official quoted in the report said that Lebanese security forces recently foiled an attempt to smuggle more than 22.5 kilograms of gold to Hezbollah through the airport. Elsewhere, Hezbollah operatives reportedly admit that they encountered new difficulties in using this gateway to bring money into the country of Lebanon. This is stalling their efforts to rebuild their military power, restore their presence to villages in southern Lebanon, and care for their fighters who were wounded in this war. So guys, here at TBN Israel, we will continue to report on every development in the northern sector. And as always, we ask you to help us, share and follow us.
Final lesson from these 50 years since April 13th. It is time for us all to say, only the state can protect us, the strong, sovereign, just, and present state, the state that emerges from the will of the Lebanese people and earnestly strives for their well-being, peace, and prosperity. And as long as we all agree that any weapon outside the framework of the state or its authority puts Lebanon's interests at risk for more than one reason, then the time has come for us all to say, nothing protects Lebanon except its state, its army, and its official security forces. The most important thing on this occasion is to remember the thousands who fell in all parts of Lebanon and in all its regions, the thousands of wounded whose injuries still bear witness, the thousands of families whose wounds have yet to heal, and the missing persons, who, along with their loved ones, remain the eternal victims of the war. 50 years later, I ask myself and I ask all officials, for what? It is true that the war ended with the TAIF agreement, which included important national compromises and essential constitutional amendments, but the question remains, couldn't we have achieved these amendments through dialogue, without the need for war? It is time to realize that no matter how high the cost of an internal settlement among ourselves, it remains far less for all of us and for Lebanon than any price we pay to external parties.
The plan, which I read, it's Arabic original, is really a good plan. The only problem that President Aoun faces is that he doesn't have a plan B. He assumes that Hezbollah will concede. What if Hezbollah doesn't concede? What happens next? I think at this point, he might be trying to avoid, and I noticed that when he was asked the question, the removal of Hezbollah's or disarming Hezbollah, he tried to avoid that word, and he tried to spin it in a way that Hezbollah will voluntarily surrender its arms. And he tried to model the surrender the same way that Lebanese militias from the days of the Civil War surrendered their arms right after the end of the Civil War. So he has a certain model in his head. And I think this is a worthwhile discussion model. But what if Hezbollah doesn't cooperate? Then, he certainly needs a plan B. So there, even while he says that he's talking to Hezbollah to convince them or to ask them to surrender their arms, he also said that the Lebanese army, meanwhile, has been taking over Hezbollah's tunnels, Hezbollah's ammunition and arms, detonating most of these arms, using or taking whatever they can use for the Lebanese armed forces. So he kind of gave the impression that while they talk, the Lebanese armed forces are actually taking over Hezbollah's armament. So I think, he's trying to be nice while he's doing it. But again, if Hezbollah digs in its heels, he will need a plan B. And the Lebanese armed forces and the cabinet are by far more legitimate than Hezbollah, the militia, and whoever supports Hezbollah. Now, from the interview, we could also tell that while the Lebanese army is legitimate and performing its tasks in taking over Hezbollah's spots and arms caches, he said that the Lebanese army has limited capabilities, that they're planning of adding 4,500 to its personnel and maybe up to 10,000. He's saying that, and of course, the landscape in southern Lebanon is mountainous, which makes their mission harder. So he's saying that the Lebanese army has limits, but they're doing what they can do.